Starting the Audiofaces Round tour.
Yeah, we do a lot of gloating on this podcast, do a fair amount of gloating on this podcast, often justified. This one we just super got wrong. So many years ago, we were like, oh yeah, SoundCloud, I have no idea how this company is making money or making revenue. I don't know how it exists. It sucks that it might die soon because it's such a place where new artists, new rappers, new electronic artists. It's basically the only place you can get really good, solid DJ mixes. So SoundCloud has a really important place in the music ecosystem, but it's been difficult, especially through like COVID-19 everything, to see, business prospects when you have the rise of these streaming giants like Spotify, Apple Music, even some other ones like SiriusXM and Tidal and all these other ones making some moves here or there. Nevertheless, in the past 2 years, 2020 was already like a pretty decent year. And then 2021 seemed to be like an also incredible year. So in 2020, SoundCloud's annual revenues topped $218 million, which, a lot of these other companies are making billions of dollars, but given SoundCloud's
they
released what they're doing, that's really good.
They released like the SoundCloud Go a couple years ago as well, which is like a premium subscription service in a way to SoundCloud. And that way, like certain artists get paid more if you stream those ones and other things, and there's different revenue breakdowns. So they're cleaner in the way that they distribute their funds to artists than, your Spotify's and Apple Music's of the world. So they're not obviously going to have nearly as much revenue just because of that. And also the user base is definitely a lot smaller than Spotify and whatnot. But I've used SoundCloud almost every day. I've used it for years. I love it.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of the few places you can find consistent electronic music mixes because
100%.
For better or for worse, like the copyright rules on the streaming platforms make it too hard to do these mixes. But they exist on streaming. They exist like in public when you go out to shows and things like that anyway. So people are going to experience them. Just some more top line numbers from 2020 as well, especially so revenues is like, that's how much money you're bringing in. That could still mean like you're losing that much money. But no, their profit increased actually by 53%, and their losses substantially decreased by 41% year over year. So they lost around $17.4 million, but their profit was around $69 million.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And yeah, they exceeded expectations as far as how much revenue they made. They exceeded expectations as far as how much money they cut. It's a really good like business growth thing. And like Sean was saying also, they are putting a lot of effort into their creator network. They said, I think some of their executives said they want to work directly with 1 to 2 million artists. That's a very lofty goal. But really, like, Spotify has done nothing but cheap talk when it comes to racing up artists. Apple Music has, a nicely robust ecosystem of like radio shows and things like that. Yeah. But that's still
interviews and stuff that Apple Music does, different like live performances that they release and shows. But it's still largely it's still not that great.
It's largely an avenue for record labels as they exist already. So you have to be well connected in order to get one of those like Zane Lowe spots to begin with. So
of course,
as far as helping replenish the creativity of music as a whole, I think SoundCloud's doing great here. And
they have that program too of like the new artist discoveries and whatnot, where they get a couple of new artists, and they really promote them through SoundCloud, promote them through this, and it's gotten a couple like pretty decent artists out of it too the past few years. Now Pharrell's teamed up with them too to mentor and to pump in some money to get the funding for them as well. So I like what SoundCloud does with artists in that way. That gives them a lot of freedom, and then especially with a lot of the electronic DJs and stuff, I love that they can post their sets, and sometimes they'll do it to tweak it and this or that, and that's what I love, because then sometimes it's festivals you can't go to necessarily, other things, and I love hearing the mixes, because that's why we go to those things, is to hear how do you mix this, like, and all the track listings and all of that, and they put that in there usually.
And this is the last point I'll make on this before we move on, because that was another great thing you said, was that it's a very good way for artists to actually get feedback from their fans, because on SoundCloud, I totally forget this, but it's the only platform where you can comment directly like with a fan's work, and comment on the second. Yeah, you can comment on the second in which you like
Love it.
something. So if an artist wants to know if you like a drop, you'll see a bunch of comments where that drop's about to happen. So like, okay, drop accomplished. The missile has landed. Like it's good.
And
so
I love it because I've gotten a lot of interactions between different artists throughout the years. So I'm asking, oh, what is this track? Or what is like, who did this or that? Or is this a new unreleased thing that you've done? Like, especially on DJs and stuff, to see a lot of different house mixes, because you get a wide variety of different sounds, and like, oh, what is this one? Or we don't know. Or if they don't post a track listing, so it's always like, oh, it's something that I've done it, but it's not released yet. It's, oh, that's kind of cool. Or the stuff where I might discover a whole different group, right? And that's how I've discovered a lot of my house music taste and stuff has been through mixes that they've shown. And like, I really like this track, and then I go and see that artist, look through that artist's discography, and then I just end up really liking them. That's happened numerous times.
Yeah. So overall, we're happy that SoundCloud is succeeding and thriving, even though that means we're wrong. Yeah, this is one of those cases where, like, I hope maybe we even said at the time, hopefully we're wrong about this. Good. This is a good case. We're happy to be wrong.